In this video, Timmy's going to show you how to enable and use Select to Speak on a Chromebook so that your Chromebook will read text out loud to you. To do this, you'll need to open up the Settings app. The easiest way to do that is to click on the time in the bottom right-hand corner down here, and then in this menu that appears, click on this Settings icon here. And now in the Settings app, scroll down in this left-hand menu here to an option near the bottom here that says Accessibility, and click Accessibility. And now in the Accessibility menu, you'll need to find Text to Speech and click on that. And now in here, you'll have two different things you can turn on. There's Chrome Vox, which is probably over the top for most people. This could be helpful if you can't see the screen at all. It's basically this voice that will completely walk you through using your Chromebook. But if you just want it to read some specific text to you when you select text you want it to read, you want to enable the second option here, Select to Speak. So we'll go ahead and click the switch here to turn that on. And now, once it's enabled, you will get this extra option here, Select to Speak Settings. And you can go in here and adjust quite a few things. Really, most people will probably just be perfectly happy with all the default settings. All the default settings are really pretty good. But if you do want to adjust anything in here, you can. You can set the language, but you're probably just going to have it on device language, which is the language your Chromebook is already set to. So you probably don't want to do that. You can change the voice, so by default it's the system voice, or you can choose any of these other voices. And when you choose a different option, you can then click play here to hear what each option sounds like.
Hi there, I'm your text-to-speech voice.
So that's the default system voice, and you can switch it to a different one if you like. Timmy's not going to bother with that, but all the options are in here if you want a different sounding voice. And you can also go into the system voice settings and adjust things like the rate and pitch and everything of it to get it exactly the way you want it, if you want to do that. And you can also enable this option to automatically change the language to match the selected content. So this means if you're using your Chromebook in English and everything's in English, but you come across a paragraph of text that's written in a different language, you could select it and it will read that text in that language if you have this turned on. It's really only going to be helpful if you can actually understand another language, but if you want to turn that on, you can there. This option is kind of good. Use natural voice when device is online. So that means if your Chromebook is connected to the internet, it will actually upload the text to the cloud and process it on the cloud and send you back a more natural, just better sounding voice. The one on the Chromebook is really quite robotic sounding. So if you want to enable that, you can. Timmy will show you that a bit later in the video, but it's kind of up to you if you want to have that or not. It does sound better, but you do need to be online for it to work. Here we have highlight each word as it is spoken. So that means as it's saying each word, it will highlight it. It's on by default. Timmy would probably leave it on. It's pretty good, but if it annoys you, you can turn it off. And you can also choose to dim the background. So everything that the reader is not reading will be dim like this. Timmy hasn't done that. It's not on by default. You could turn that on if you wanted to do that. And then we have navigation controls down here that are on by default. Timmy finds these quite helpful. Timmy would leave them on. If they're really getting in your way or annoying you or something, you could turn them off. But that's really all there is to the setup. There's really not much to do. It's really just enabling this. And now, once you've done with that, you can actually close the Settings app. And you'll always have this little speaker icon down here, Select to Speak, in your little thing of icons down here, technical term. And now you can really just go into any app. It really works very well in pretty much every app for pretty much all text. Timmy's just using a website in Google Chrome as an example. Now, whenever you want it to read you some text, all you need to do is click on this icon down here to activate it. And then you can either click on text you want it to read or click and drag over it. So if we just click on one word, it should read the entire sentence that that word is a part of.
Tech Time with Timmy was created by Timmy back in 2016 with the goal of helping people of all skill levels learn all about technology.
So that is an option and it's very easy to do. But if we close that and click on it here, what Timmy's found can sometimes work better is if you click and drag a box over all the text you want it to read. So we'll click and drag like this and it'll create this purple box. And you can even select quite a few paragraphs if you want, like this. And let go when you're ready.
Was created by Timmy back
and now we'll read the entire thing.
Goal of helping people of all skill levels learn all about technology. It started out as just a YouTube channel which now has
as
over
you can
30,000
see,
subscribers.
It's highlighting each word as it goes.
To accommodate helpful tech tips and tutorials in the form of articles in addition to weekly videos. So whether you prefer to watch videos or read articles, we've got you covered.
And that's basically all there is to it. You really just select your text and it will read anything to you that you want. And if we maybe close that and come over to this Google Doc here, just to get some more text here, we'll select all this text to read that text.
Follow us on Instagram at TechTimeWithTimmy.
If you chose to have the controls here, you have this little box here under the text, and you can pause that, so it will just pause reading it to you, and play to obviously play it. And you can change the speed, so if it's going a bit slowly and you want to get through it quicker, you can put it on 2 times speed or something, or you can go to 0.5, and it will read it very slowly. And you can use these arrows to jump around. So this button will go back to the previous sentence, and this button will go back to the previous paragraph. Sometimes it's the same thing. Turn that down a bit. Sometimes the sentence and the paragraph are the same thing, but technically that's the sentence and that's the paragraph. So you can go forwards and backwards like that. Or if you prefer, you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard. You can use up and down to skip specific paragraphs, or left and right to go between the sentences. Again, in this case, it's really all the same thing, but if you had multiple sentences in each paragraph, it would be different. And when you're done with this and you want it to stop, you can either click this cross here if you have this box, or you can click this button down here that we clicked before, and that will close it and everything will go back to normal. So it's completely stopped now, but you will still always have this icon available down here. You can click on whenever you want your Chromebook to read things to you. And if we go back into the settings and enable the natural voice when device is online, this will upload everything you ask it to read to the cloud. So stuff's going to the cloud, and it does require an internet connection. And if your internet connection is really bad, it might be a bit slow at doing this or something, but generally it works pretty well. And you can choose from a different selection of natural voices here, and you can play to hear what all of them sound like. These are all voices that are only available on the cloud, basically. But if you have that turned on, it'll only do this when you're online. If you're offline at times, it'll just revert back to the old normal one that Timmy showed you that happens on the Chromebook. But now, once we have that enabled and we're online, we can once again select some text we want it to read. And it sounds weird because it's 0.5, but
so that is really all there is to know about Tech Time with Timmy, and it doesn't really matter anyway.
It's still a little bit robotic, but you can probably tell it sounds a lot less like a robot now and more human. And you have a lot of other voices you could choose from back in the settings here if you want to play around with that and have a slightly different one. But typically all of these voices are going to sound better and more natural because it's going up to the cloud where they have a lot more processing power to make it sound better. But that's all there is to this video. That's how you can use Select to Speak to have your Chromebook read things to you. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and we might see you in another one in the future.